Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in as always, and thank you ever so much for all your likes, subscribes, shares, comments, discussions, all very much appreciated. Right, so today we are doing spark plug change. ILFR6B NGK laser iridiums and genuine Subaru 224338A641 coil packs. And to assist with the task, we have let's just grab the tag. Bought this specifically for this task. It is a Sealy Premier 3/4 inch square drive low profile ratchet. Now, if we just grab another out of the Halfords Advanced tool set, and I'll try and get these in front of the GoPro as best I can without dropping them. You can see, let's get that in one hand, you can see the difference in thickness. Yeah. So what I had read is, because of the nature of where you're trying to get in here, hopefully the GoPro's just picking that up, you can just see the top of one of the coil packs and the other one is just next to it in there. Hopefully the GoPro is just about picking that up. So because it's just beside the engine, the rails where the engine's mounted, you need as much help as possible to get in. So the narrower tools, the better. So low profile ratchet handle, and we've also got Q-Work 360 spark plug removal tool, magnetic. Again, so you should be able to get it in and then angled up and have enough room to get the ratchet handle on, and also to aid that situation, the universal angled adapter. So that should see us well. Also, selection of extensions, feeler gauges. Obviously, for me, due diligence, I've had spark plugs out of the packet and have checked the gauge to make sure it's 0.030 inches, which I think worked out. Anyway, looking online, there's mixed opinions about whether to use feeler gauges on iridium tipped spark plugs. Anyway, I was particularly cautious on entry and exit, and for me, because I understand or appreciate that this job is particularly not hard, but it means we've got to take the battery out, it means we've got to take the airbox out, these hoses, remove these temporarily just to gain access to each side, and it's not a job I want to do twice. Also, this time I've gone for the standard plug. Last time I went one step cooler, but this time I'm going back to standard for no other reason other than, with the standard ones, manufacturer's recommended service interval is 60,000. For every step cooler you go, they last half as long. So you have to change them every 30,000. And you know what? I can't be doing with that. So I want the service interval to be 60,000. So for me, I'm doing about 16,000 a year. That will be every 4 years, which is absolutely fine and dandy by me. Anyway, so I'm going to start on this side, which is pretty standard. So I'm going to remove the battery clamp first, which you'll have seen on my channel recently. Remove the little peg, take the cover off, the clamp off, remove the little pegs, lift the battery out, and move as many cables that way as possible so that we've got access. Then we'll start getting into that. And obviously, of course, torque wrench. In the remote chance I can get the torque wrench in to torque up the spark plugs to 12 foot-pound, Otherwise, what I've read is you can do finger tight and then half to a quarter turn more, and that's tight enough. But we'll see if we can get the torque wrench in. Not making any promises in that department, but we will see. Anyway, I won't video getting the battery out. I don't think anyone needs to see battery coming out. That's relatively straightforward. But I will fully document the removal of the airbox. And there's a nut down there, or bolt down there, and the other one is in there. When I get to doing that bit, I'll get the GoPro on a clamp and we'll fully document that part. But getting the battery out, easy peasy. So I'll get that out off cam and then we'll get straight into spark plug. Right, so with that out, battery, jacket, little plastic tray. With that out and the light in, you can see where I'm pointing the hook of the light. That is target point number 1, and target point number 2 is there. They are your coil packs. Both of those have to come off in order to gain access to the spark plugs. So I'll get the GoPro on a grip mount and get a reasonable angle and we'll start getting in there. So first target point is here. You can just see the coil pack poking out there and the nut is just beside it. So I'm going to get that backed off. I'm going to move the GoPro so I've got a little bit more access space and we'll get that first one out. Hopefully that'll do. So again, I'm not going in with the socket on its own. It's staying on the handle at all times. Because if I drop it, the last thing I want to be doing today is putting the car up on the jack or rally ramps in order to remove the under tray in order to find tools that I've foolishly dropped. Right. So just about at the point where a little wiggle, fingers, and the coil pack is free. I have to push the bolt back in order to slide that up. I don't want to lose anything. Right, I'm going to dry my hands, drag that little thing up. So that's the first one out. So the slight mistake I'd made is that there's a little plug on here and the cable which runs down there isn't particularly long. So the first job you want to do, you apply a small amount of pressure with the back of your fingernail and then with another fingernail pop them off and it come off easy. So that is one coil pack. And another bit of advice, you want to be doing this one. Yes, you can see it where my finger's pointing. You want to do that one first because that gives you the rail tapers. So the wider point is here. So you want to pop that one out, along there, up, and then this one into its space and also up. Because what happened was, I ran out of finger space, couldn't get the bulky back end through the aperture. It plopped down, and I had to go and enlist the help of Mr. Magnet. Mr. Magnet saved the day, and I drew it down along the pan to that gap and rescued it. Right, let's get in and do the other. Try and do this one real time. The little connector is already off. No specific requirement to memorize which one went on which, because they are different lengths. So you have a short one for the one closer to the bulkhead, and you have a longer one for one that is closer to the rad, the one I'm working on now. And you don't have to be super careful with the bolt, because that is securely mounted in the coil pack itself. So whilst people say, you know, the space is a pain, it's not impossible. Whew. It is incredibly hot though, that I will say. And I'm hoping the GoPro doesn't die. I just double checked the preview and I was like, it's still on the same preview from 10 minutes ago. God dear me. I've got the DJI ready because it's super hot today, so I suspected that there would be some GoPro type shenanigans. Right, so that is disconnected, and it's literally a case of pulling the item forward like so, and then up and out. And that one, literally, it was in that way, spun it round upside down, it comes straight through, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right, let's remount the GoPro and we'll have a look at the spark plugs. So we'll do a quick shot in here, quite a good view actually, so you can see one there, one there. Right, so we've got the 360 spark plug removal tool plus the universal socket joint, and we'll go in for this one first and see if we can get this on top of spark plug. And there we are, she's in. She's in. It's a long way in. It's a long way in. And then nip that off. Right, that's the first one out. It was a bit of a kerfuffle. I found the best option in tools was this one. So small handle, obviously a little converter, and the reason I didn't use a small handle for access, I needed to find a socket that was just not as long as this extension, just that little bit extra, so you could get it inside the spark plug hole, and that helped loads. One thing I learned from doing the first one is once your socket is engaged, do not remove it until you're completely satisfied that you're totally undone. Otherwise, you have to go through the whole process of scratching around again, trying to get it engaged, which is a pain. Right, we're loose, we're close. Right, that's that side back together. New coil pack and other new coil pack, just about see on camera there. So 2 new coil packs, 2 new plugs. Battery is temporarily installed. So tomorrow, airbox off, supply feed off, etc, etc. Make as much space as humanly possible and then get into the others. And I will do my best to get a better filming vantage point. Airbox lid should lift up and out. Good. Filter's still nice and clean. And the next bolt is just down there. .12mm long socket extension. Apparently the battery side is the hardest, so hopefully we're going to have a little bit more fun. Right, I'm going to get a jacket and a hood. It is now pouring down. So that's the lower airbox bolt out and secured, and then the air filter housing lifts clean out. Easy peasy. Again, get that somewhere dry. There is loads more access space. So one coil pack there, one coil pack there. Bolts to undo to get the coil packs off, and then, as I say, a little bit more space in order to get the spark plug removal tool in. Right, I'm going to tuck all this out the way, get a cloth up the airbox inlet, just poke that down for now, like so. I'll put a cloth over that, and I'm going to get a charger for the GoPro, and then we'll start getting into it. Well, rain seems to be dying down a little bit, which is good. So let's just make sure we can see on camera. Coil pack 1, coil pack 2. And I think what I didn't show yesterday was pulling off the little clips, applying a small amount of pressure on the front of the clip, and out it comes. Number 1. Just find the little springy bit. Number 2. And trust me when I say removing the cables is the easiest part of the whole job. Excuse me. And then we'll dive in for the coil pack. Don't have to worry about the bolts disappearing on these because they are anchored to the device, anchored to the coil pack housing. So that is finger tight. Well, let's see, are we? Yeah, you can see there's so much more room on this side, it makes it so much nicer. Can actually fit a hand in. So the other side's exactly the same, it's just a fraction tighter, and therefore more fun, shall we say. Right, that's that loose. And hopefully, unlike yesterday, where it was bonkers tight. Hopefully there is just enough room to get this out. Yep, all in one go. Lovely. No drama. Right, where's that socket? The other one needs just a tiny bit more socket action. And then we should be done. Bonnet strut's going to be very irritating today. Working on this side. There we are. Right. Need both hands for that. And the GoPro out the way. You can see that it's plopped out. I'm going to get the GoPro moved, get both hands on that, lift that out, and then we'll start getting into removal of the spark plugs. So hopefully you can see that. That is the 360 socket tool, magnetised and on top of the spark plug, and the universal rotational socket adapter on the top. So we'll just get that whizzed off. I need to use this space, get that whipped off, get the other one whipped off, pull them out, and that's that part done. Brilliant. Right, so that's everything out. Next thing, new coil packs, new spark plugs. So screw the spark plugs in until they're finger tight, and then half to a quarter turn more and they're fully seated. Then coil packs in, tighten it up, and then get your airbox back in. Connect up all your pipe work, reconnect your battery, test it. I'm going to go and put the GoPro on charge and let it have a little cool down. I'm going to get the spark plug screwed in, and I will be back. Quick bit of phone footage for this one. So that is airbox side spark plugs changed and new coil packs. So you can see the bolts holding the coil packs. You can see the multi-plugs that need to be plugged into the coil packs, and you can see clearly where you've got to get to for the spark plugs. And what I found is it's just a, you know, you can start off with that one when you need extra reach, and eventually I'd start using this one with a small converter, and it's just going down in size as when you tighten them up you run out of space. It just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Anyway, let's get that all put back together and get the GoPro spin on charge, as is the mic. Right, so that's that all done. Battery back in, reinstalled, new coil packs this side, which you can just see, 1 and 2, and this side, very minimal chance of seeing them again. But you can just see it poking his head out there, one of them, and the other one is hiding in that little gully. So don't forget to re-secure all your pipe work. I'll put that one on back to front. So re-secure your pipe work, make sure everything's looking neat and tidy and oriented correctly. Plug back on the MAF sensor 100%, give the airbox lower a little bit of a clean out, make sure everything else is looking hunky-dory and where it used to be, and then prepare yourself for a start and feel happy that you did it all yourself. Anyway, I hope there are some sections in there which were appropriate, or, you know, gave a good visibility of the areas that you're going in. For the facelift version, it's just battery out, airbox out. But I believe pre-facelift had the water bottle here, so you had to remove that as well. But my water bottle's in the front bumper. Winner, winner. So for me, some of the things that I discovered, much to my frustration, is that, you know, you were regularly doing a combination of this to get around the corners and get started, but as time progressed, you could use the little extender on the smaller handle, because as this gets sucked into the head, as you're starting to get tighter and tighter and tighter, you start running out of space. So it's handy just to have a little diddy one and get that in, just to get that final nip up. This was invaluable, super skinny. This was utterly rubbish, didn't use that for anything. This just performed the tightening up at the end part. So basically the main things that really helped were those items, to be honest. Obviously with 10 and 12mm sockets appropriately, and also the magnetised spark plug tool, which was a massive help. I don't think I'd have done it without that. Anyway, I'm going to fire her up, make sure everything's running, and then on to another little mini task on FOS. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. Hope it's not too horrific. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you for watching as always. I'll see you again very, very soon. All the best. Bye-bye.